when these people come out here to sacrifice somebody, what's their goal? Like,
Power.
what are they gaining from it?
Power. They maintain their power. They're already rich. They make sure that they maintain their power. But what they really are after is something that money can't buy. It's use. I mean, okay, you can put all the cream you want on your face and you can have all the surgery you want. It doesn't give you use. Real use is through specific rituals and through the harvesting of blood, and blood that was harvested through fear and pain, torture. That gives a special quality to blood. And this blood, in every single culture that has practiced blood sacrifice, they know that the more pain you inflict on the person you sacrifice, the better it is. It gives you more power. That's what you call adrenaline, okay? And I will not, you probably, if you are interested in those stories about a certain product that's being used or not by wealthy people that's based on adrenaline, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah, just connect the dots. That's easy. And also, please read books. That's very important. You don't get to that level of knowledge without reading books. You won't find the truth on TikTok. You won't find the truth on random articles you've read online. You have to go to the source. You have to read old books. You have to read stuff about mythology. You have to read stuff about pagan gods. You have to read the Bible, because you can't quote the Bible without reading the Bible. Even I have read the Bible. I know what I'm talking about. So you have to read all the books. You have to build your knowledge and be aware of the signs when you see them. That's important.
And to tie up this whole thing, so when they're doing these sacrifices, it's coming after these people have been tortured and like beaten and abused to drive the adrenaline up.
Yeah.
So that ties into the torture house of the family that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And the guy literally right there who was torturing people on camera before killing them.
Exactly.
My investigation has revealed that this is all linked to a ritual. I believe somebody in a cult was drugging my daughter Jessie for a year before she went missing. I believe that she was killed June 20th, 2016, because it was a full moon and the summer solstice at the same time, and then the next day was Lilith. Lilith is a holiday that the occult does celebrate, and it requires a human sacrifice. I had a person say to me that if I looked around at the environment and looked at the seasons, I would see a pattern. And as I looked and did more research, realized that it was very specific and that people went missing on very specific days throughout the whole year.
My mom thinks everything's connected to other missing persons cases. Like it's a big web. A lot of the times she'll say things like,
I believe that Jessie was tortured for the drug adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is a chemical that our body produces when we are extremely fearful or have a lot of distress. It gives you strength, it gives you vitality. And the people that killed Jessie are harvesting that from other people. And when you drink it, it gives you euphoria and power. A gang member who told me later that he had a video of her death. He told me that Jessie had been killed, that her body had been put into a barrel and set on fire. The police do have a part of that video. I believe that the police are protecting her killer.
Room 1600, please. As your attorney, I advise you to take a hit out of the little brown bottle in my shaving kit. You won't need much. Just a tiny taste.
What's that? Ah, there it is. What is this?
That stuff makes pure mescaline seem like ginger beer, man. Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome?
Hello. Hi, Lucy. God bless. Yeah, it's me. What? Hell no. I taught the a lesson he'll never forget. What? No, not dead. But he won't be bothering anybody for a while. Yeah, I left him out there. I stomped him and pulled all his teeth out.
I remember thinking, Jesus, what a terrible thing to lay on somebody with a head full of acid.
But we have a problem. That cashed a bad check downstairs and gave you as a reference. They'll be looking for both of you. Yeah, I know, Lucy, but you can't judge a book by its cover. Some people are just basically rotten. Anyway, the last thing in the world you want to do is call this hotel again. They'll trace the call and put you straight behind bars. No, I'm moving to the Tropicana right away. I'll let you know what it is, and I gotta get off. Probably have this phone tap, baby. Yeah, I know, it was horrible, but it's all over now. Oh my God, there's someone at the door. There's someone at the door. Hey! Hey! I'm innocent! It was Duke! It was Duke! Well, that's that. That's the last we should be hearing from Lucy, man. She's probably stuffing herself down the incinerator about now. You know what we need? We need some opium.
Well, Christine, this is an amazing story of survival and one that allows us to see just how easily a young girl can become a victim of human trafficking.
Immediately when I got in the car, I knew something was off.
Simone Miller was only 16 when she was kidnapped and trafficked by a man she had just met.
He was just like, I'm a pimp and you're my hoe. And I'm going to take you somewhere. You're going to be given instructions on what to do, and running is not an option.
She was taken to a hotel where other women were being held. Simone says the man who told her he was a rapper when she first met him warned her if she tried to escape, he would kill her mother and her grandmother.
If anybody knows me, like, that's like my weakness. You know, because like my family is all I have.
As days went by, Simone was desperate to get out of this situation.
What can I do? What can I do? And I like played along, and I had him thinking like I'm okay with it. You know, I put on this red lingerie.
The pimp let his guard down, and when he took a shower and left his cell phone on the bed, Simone made a quick phone call to her mother.
And I said, Mom, and she said, baby, where are you? And I said, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at, Mom. She just said, tell me what you see, Simone. I said, I'm like looking out the window of this hotel. I said, I see like a 7-Eleven. She's like, okay, what else do you see? I said, like I don't know, a Church's chicken. She's like, okay.
Somehow, with that brief description, her entire family hid different locations, searching for Simone until they found her outside of a 7-Eleven. Her captor was inside buying cigarettes, unaware his victim was about to be rescued.
All I could think was when this man gets out of this 7-Eleven, it's gonna be trouble.
Despite everything he put her through, Simone protected him, telling her family he wasn't the man who kidnapped her. I still know that it wasn't right what he did, but I got in the car with him, you know what I mean? And I just didn't want them to kill him in front of me. And I kept saying, no, that's not him, that's not him. It's been many years since that horrific experience. Simone is now a crisis interventionist at Teen Project, a nonprofit that helps survivors of human trafficking. It's healing. Subconsciously, I'm healing by helping. Such a strong young woman. Now, you may be wondering what happened to the man who took Simone. Well, her family let him go the night that she was rescued. He was later killed in an unrelated incident.
Now, these girls, how old?
I'm doing 13 to 15 years old.
13 to 15 years old.
Right, that's what I'm doing, 13 to 15.
You're watching footage of an alleged child trafficker negotiating with someone he thinks is a customer, but the purported buyer is actually an undercover agent.
Y a él le gustan así, como te dije, le gustan pequeñas, frescas.
This remarkable video is featured in a new documentary called The Abolitionists. Crime Watch Daily's Melissa Moore goes inside the film, featuring ex-CIA agent Tim Ballard and his team of highly trained operatives who crisscross the globe, rescuing children from sexual slavery.
We all know the term child sex trafficking, but you see up close and personal.
You know, I sometimes like to use the term child sex slavery, where they force them to do sexual acts on video. And I'm talking, these kids are as young as 7 years old or younger.
Tim is the founder of Operation Underground Railroad. On this mission, the unit heads to the Colombian town Cartagena, where cutting deals isn't limited to dark alleys.
We have to pretend to be sex tourists, talking to taxi drivers, sitting on the beach and waiting for a vendor to come up and start offering us everything from drugs to adult women, and eventually it comes up. Well, how about children? At that point, we tell them that we want to have a party. We want to have a sex party, and we want children to be the objects of lust for this party.
For this job, the alleged traffickers think they are bringing kids to a party where the children will be brokered to a bunch of American pervs. But first, the deal is struck, seen here on hidden camera.
Le va a gustar al jefe.
Oh, sí. Sí, sí, sí. ¿Cuántos años tiene?
The big night comes. Tim and his agents spin an elaborate web. No detail is left to chance.
So we're gonna make a sign that says Feliz Cumpleaños a Maria. We'll get some balloons.
Those girls can do that.
Yeah, so we're gonna put that on the door, just in case, and that's for looky-loos outside who see 30 minors walking into a house.
Tim briefs the team on how the sting will unfold.
The rendezvous point, which a lot of you know is the hotel at the end of this street. Don't talk about that outside this room.
Then it's party time. The girls are herded like cattle. Traffickers thinking they're about to make a ton of cash, charging $300 per girl and $1,000 for a virgin.
Everyone's coming in.
Pequeña, le va a gustar al jefe.
Oh, sí, con los shorts.
Sí.
Eso es.
¿Cómo se llaman? La piscina ahí, comida también tenemos. ¡Hola, muchachas! Sí.
14, 12, bien. Ah.
¿La de 14?
Hey,
¿Qué hace?
Sí.
Ella hace todo. The traffickers, in addition to the 12 and 13-year-old girls, brought these adult prostitutes who kind of hovered over the girls, kind of groomed them, showed them what they're supposed to do, and kept an eye on them. And these poor little girls are kind of mixed and mingled within this larger body of adult prostitutes.
Then on cue, Tim tips his glasses, giving the Colombian cops the signal to raid the phony party. Once the guys are arrested, Colombian Child Protective Services march in to take charge of the kids. The Cartagena mission is a success, with 5 alleged traffickers arrested and the 29 kids rescued. These youngsters having no idea Tim has saved them from their alleged abusers.
Imagine that for the children, as you're doing this operation, they think that you're the bad guys.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's one of the most difficult parts of the job, because to maintain our security, we get arrested with the rest of the actual bad guys.
Have you ever seen a child realize that you were their rescuer?
One time. It was October of 2014. It was the largest child rescue that I've ever heard of. We rescued over 120 victims.
In this video, a different mission. The alleged traffickers brought children to an island, thinking they were going to partner up with the undercover agents to build a child sex hotel. But their plot was foiled. The bad guys were arrested, and somehow, the kids learned that the Americans were actually their saviors.
All the kids, they're in these cabanas, and they run to the windows, and there's a screen, and they're crying, and they're singing, and they're saying thank you. It was so emotional. I mean, my hardened operators are crying, I'm crying. Oh, one of my guys behind me, I remember, grabs my shirt, and he's pulling on it, and he's crying, and he says, you're hearing the sound of freedom.
But saving these kids is only part of what Operation Underground Railroad does. They also provide healing for the kids who will never forget the horrors they endured. Back in the United States, Elizabeth Smart, who was abducted as a teen and sexually assaulted, is joining up with this bold rescue operation.
How did she team up with you?
I think what really attracted her to what we were doing was that we were going in and trying to rescue kids. You know, and she told me, she said, you know, I sat there for 8 months hoping someone would just drop in and out of the sky and rescue me. She said, you know, I want to go back to the place in California where I was held captive. It was so empowering. And then she took us back to the camp where she was held and say, yeah, that's where he held me. Well, that guy's in jail, you know, for life.
Running Operation Underground Railroad is expensive, so to help cover costs, Tim launched a CrossFit franchise, a place where the agents work out to prepare for their missions.
And so CrossFit actually subsidizes the operation.
That's right, we have 110 members and growing every week, and all the proceeds go right back into the rescue operations.
And some of the money is used to help victims move on to a better life.
We have victims who aren't even aware of what opportunities are in front of them. What can they do? We have victims who want to become a beautician, who want to go back to school and learn trades. So we can help provide those education services that they need.
Después de eso quiero estudiar turismo porque me gustan los idiomas y ese es mi sueño.
During the making of The Abolitionists, 57 children were rescued, and 7 criminals are now facing prison sentences from 20 years to life. And while the film documents a moment in time of humanity at its worst, beyond the cameras, Tim will continue fighting to save its most innocent victims.